Welcome to another episode of the Forgotten Athlete Podcast. I am here as your host, Joseph, here with Zach. How's it going today, Zach? Co-host
Things
Zach,
are
sorry.
things are great.
It's good to
How are
hear.
you?
Doing good. It's been a while. Sorry for the layoff, people. We've been busy, both busy with family activities, but we're back in order, regularly scheduled, giving you at least two podcasts a week. This week, probably only give you one, just because obviously it's already Wednesday. By the time you see this, probably going to be Thursday or Friday. But we got some things to talk about today that we got NBA and NFL related, which are our kind of bread makers here. I guess just kick things off. On the lighter side of things, our Timberwolves are still alive,
Uh,
3-1 right now. I really do think this team can come back and at least force a game seven. Um, I just feel like this team has been through a lot, and they've shown that they are a better team than the Mavericks. Honestly, to me at least, like it's just a matter of Luka being a more like a more dominant, like Luka and Kyrie being the better duo than and Cat were. I think that's, but I think together wise, like if you put these two teams blindly side by side, I feel like T Wolves are the better team.
yeah, I mean, they're the better team, maybe 45, 46 minutes
Yeah,
of like the ball game, but then the last couple minutes where you need to play the clock and the score at the same time, the Mavericks just have guys who have been there in that situation before, and the Timberwolves, quite frankly, just don't have that. They're learning on the fly. Um, so mature. I think this what do you call playoffs? It's shown that maturity has helped a lot of the teams get to where they are. We saw the Pacers fall apart game three. What like this game they should have won. It's just it was their first time being there. The
game
Celtics,
three,
yeah,
game one. I mean,
yeah, it's just so
game
it's
four
just,
too. Honestly,
so I mean these are moments we're gonna look by. Um, in 2025 six playoffs, and they're gonna go. These Pacers and these Timberwolves are gonna go against teams where it's their first go around.
yeah.
Um, in the playoffs, like Wimby, for example, right? And then Wimby's going to be winning the game for 40, 45, 46 minutes. But Anthony Edwards is going to just be able to control the game a little more, and he'll come out beating Wembanyama when maybe the Spurs should have won. But it's just their first. You just don't see guys in their first playoff runs go super far. So I mean that's normal.
Yeah,
Um,
and
so
and I, and I think even a further your point, like even the T-Wolves, this is not Anthony Edwards' first time in the playoffs, but it's the furthest he's gone in his short.
yeah,
Like I think he's been in the playoffs. I think he's been in the league for 4 years now, and he's been in the playoffs two or three times out of those four times. Yeah, no, this is his third time in the playoffs because they won the play, and then last year they made it. So yeah, he's been in the playoffs three times since he started. So this is his
yeah,
third
but it's
time.
their first deep run.
First
But
deep one, yeah, exactly, yeah.
yeah,
To your point, yeah,
and they
it's the
knocked
first
off.
deep run.
It's got to be a emotional like
Yeah,
high coming off beating the defending champions, and the defending champs knocked them out last year. So,
yeah, and you're
uh,
probably thinking you're invincible. You're probably thinking like, hey, like, oh, we're playing the Mavs, like they're the fifth seed. They could barely beat OKC.
mhm.
Like we can handle them with no problem. So I think that's more of the reason why they started off flat. I kind of want to stay on this because I guess we can start off with the T Wolves and the Mavs.
Sure.
I got a question. Like, what are your thoughts on Luka's game? Because I love Luka's game, but he is a lot like James Harden. A lot like in terms of his play style. To me, at least, when I'm watching him, I get a lot of James Harden remembrance. And to me, James Harden does not get the love he deserves, in my opinion, as one of the greatest
Mm.
shooting guards of our time, probably the greatest shooting guard of this past decade, at least. And our point guard, how you want to call him guard, just guard in general. Obviously Steph Curry's in there too. If you throw point guards in there, and Kyrie Irving and Russell Westbrook, the list goes on. But just in terms of what Harden can do, playmaking, manipulating. But there's one thing I want to talk about with you with Luka, his flopping and his flailing and his drawing the three pointers, like the Scott Foster, like the three pointer that he made, that was gonna be a 4-point play, but he missed the free throw. To me, that should not have been
Just foul.
that should not have counted. Like
Mm,
maybe it was a foul, but I don't think it should have been a continuation. And I think he gets away with a lot of stuff. And he complains to the ref like literally every single call. Like he's complaining to the ref. And like
yeah. And what's
he's
crazy
got
is I think he's gotten better with that. Like I see him complain less this playoffs than I
Mhm.
have in previous playoffs. But it's
Yeah, I think
still a
Kid
lot.
talked to him.
And it's like it's almost like he's a mix of LeBron, but he's
Yeah.
like the difference between him and LeBron, obviously the athleticism. Um, and Luka wants to shoot the ball when they're down. And oftentimes we see Luka make it. Like he's a clutch, very clutch player. LeBron, he seemed to shy away from those moments. Um, and then also the free throw line. Like they both have issues making a freaking free throw. Like
Mm,
Luka, when they're coming back yesterday, gets a 4 point play. Great, you hit the three, but you missed the free throw, and it ended up closing out the game for you guys. It's like, I mean, make the free throw, dude. You can do
yeah.
everything else on the floor but make free throws. I guess you're not gonna complain, is because he's doing everything else. He's getting rebounds, getting everybody else involved. Oh, by the way, he's getting a 35. So he's doing everything. It's just
Yeah.
that one thing. And that's why I say he's similar to LeBron for me in that regard. But no, I mean he's an awesome player, fun to watch. Like, you don't feel like the game's ever out of reach with him. So he's got a little Kobe in him for that, you know.
Yeah.
So, but when it comes to James Harden, I think you got to win, and the history remembers the winners. Like that's just in across sports. So if you can't beat the
Across
next
history
guy,
too.
like you're gonna be forgotten. Um, like
Yeah,
people may
no second
remember
place.
your something you brought to the game, but if someone does it better, like I mean, like a player that for me that doesn't get recognized as much as he should, like Tracy McGrady. The dude was truly unstoppable,
Mm-hmm.
but no one's ever going to be like Tracy McGrady's a great player, and he's a great two guard, but because he didn't play long enough because of injuries, and B he just didn't win enough. He lost like every time he was in the playoffs, and yeah, sorry, I don't mean to ramble on, but I think the Harden stuff is expected. Um, and it could change, to be honest. Like Jason Kidd, for example, I think he's a good one. Um, People, think Jason Kidd was a good shooter,
He wasn't.
like just
Yeah.
average fan, but he was really. I'm not saying trash because that's disrespectful, but he wasn't good. You left him open for three. It's like they used to call him Ace and Kid because he had no J. Like that was who he
Yeah.
was. But by the time he got to Dallas, he could make a 3 point shot, and now it's like, oh, he could shoot. So James Harden, if he wins,
Talking about Dallas the second time around.
yeah, yeah, it's when they won the championship over LeBron. Um, so I mean, if James Harden finds himself on a championship team, like I like to see him honestly, I go to San Antonio. No one expects anything out of you, you know. Um, but you can just pass the ball to a big guy, 7'4", Wemby, something like that, where it's like he can if he finds the right system, um, and
He'll be
wins,
able to explode. Yeah.
all of a sudden Joseph will help him out. I think.
Yeah, I just think at this point it's too late in his career to like he needs to
Sure.
be like a fourth. He needs to be like a fourth or fifth.
Or
Like at
go
this
back to
point,
Oklahoma. What did you want
Oklahoma
him back in
City.
Oklahoma? It's like
That's so. I
if
think
he goes back
so.
there. It's like, oh, that might mean something.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things I wanted to bring up today was Sam Presti and Oklahoma City in terms of like their moves, but I wanted to save that till we got to after the playoffs talk.
Sure.
So I kind of like bookmark what you just said.
Yeah.
But in terms of getting back into the playoff series with the T Wolves and the Mavericks, is there because at this point I think the odds are in the T Wolves' favor to at least win, at least go back to Game 6, right? I think they're 5 point favorites for tomorrow game, and which is on Thursday. And I think at this point, they have the momentum, and all you need is one win. And honestly, it's easy. I think it's easier now to come back from a 3-0 deficit
It's going to
than at
happen
any
one of
point.
these days.
At any point, yeah,
And
yeah.
Joseph, you know what I think they have on their side too that no one's talked about? Like, what did I tell you early on, right? Like with the Pacers series, I told you the Pacers can sweep the Knicks, but the refs don't want to have the Knicks get swept, so they're going to drag the series out. And we watched the games. The refs they kept
I,
those
wa-
Knicks in the game.
I will say
The
the refs
I'll say,
the refs kept the Mavs in the game yesterday.
well, well, yeah, it made the game interesting, but it didn't
Yeah,
affect the outcome. Where
that's
the
true.
right, and I think they're going to do this. The refs, the NBA, you think like the playoffs, they have their date that the finals are supposed to begin. It's
For a
not
reason.
changing. It's
Yeah.
not changing. That day is happening. And what do you know the day? Is like next Sunday or something?
June
Do you know
6th
the
is
day?
June 6th. It's next Thursday. I
So
think
June
it's at the
6th, next
6th.
Thursday. They're not the NBA. What they do not want is to have a week without games. So
Yeah, June 6th.
I can see them dragging this series out to milk the money for the NBA, builds up hype for the fans. The people that are betting can bet on the more games. Reps can rep some more games. Like, yo, like I'm not trying to say this conspiracy out there, but I'm saying, Joseph, I don't think the worst thing for the NBA would be have two sweeps in their conference finals and have a long layoff in between matchups. So yeah, give me the Timberwolves to come back.
Do you ever remember do you ever I'm trying to think of our high school team like just like where we went to high school at like a player that was not good at scoring but he was so good that he like knew the game and he was like always in the right place at the right time. He always knew like what to do. Like do you ever have a player like that in your mind from like our high school youth team or just in general that you kind of know about?
Like what? How do you mean? I'm a little.
Like okay, so I'm trying to bring in Kyle Anderson because like he's not like the best shooter. He's not like the best scorer, but like I feel like he brings a lot to the T Wolves offense, and he defended Luka Doncic really well yesterday. So I think that's something that to look out for. Maybe add him to the starting lineup, or maybe bring him off the bench first. Um, I think at this point the T Wolves need to kind of fine tune into that lineup that got them the win. And it was Kyle Anderson, Carl Anthony Town before he got fouled out, Anthony Edwards, um, Michael Conley, and Gobert were in the game. Those were their five in that game, in that final closing lineup where they kind of got the lead and they kind of just never let it go. My only concern with the T Wolves is their scoring in the fourth quarter. It's like I think I don't know who I was talking listen to. Maybe it may have been Bill Simmons, but or actually Bridget Miller may have said it during the game cast yesterday. But they like I don't know what it is, but Anthony Edwards like as soon as like the 4 minute mark starts in the third quarter, like he just like is a different player. Like and this is part of
Well,
his
I I think it's
conditioning.
him. Well, I think the issue like might come down to conditioning. I don't think he's really tired. This is my opinion. I don't
Yeah,
know anything about the situation, but I don't think he's like super tired. But I will say this: like this is what it reminds me of, Joseph. Tiger Woods used to train with Navy SEALs, like with the U.S. Navy SEALs. I'm going somewhere. So, but what he was trying to do with Navy SEALs in his training was he was trying to keep his heart rate at a certain level. Like so, when he's on tour, and it's the 17th hole, and he needs a big. He's like, when he needs to have a big putt, and he needs it to go in. He's not too high or too low. He's controlling his heart rate. You talk to guys like if you like watch interviews with like Patrick Mahomes, he'll tell you like when in those high moments when it's the fourth quarter and he needs to score and he knows he needs to score, his heart's like not too high, too low. He's even killed. Everyone around him may be chaotic, but they're not. I think what you're seeing, Joseph, is this just I don't know anything, but from just hearing those guys like Tiger Woods, Patrick Mahomes, I know they're two great players,
yeah.
but I think they're able to have control of their bodies, their mind, like in those moments. And you're seeing someone Anthony Edwards who doesn't. I think Luka has it too, to be honest. Like you can sell Luka, he's
Yeah,
not.
because
They're
Luca
down
looks
seven.
out of shape,
But it's like he's fine. It's like he just
but like,
controls
yeah,
his like, whereas like he's
body,
not. But I think Anthony Edwards he might want it a little bit too much type deal,
yeah.
where and then he kind of gets overwhelmed with the situation. That's when you see him run to get some oxygen and stuff. Um, I think he's built for it. But I would, I don't know. That's just something that came to mind when I was hearing and watching what's going on. Does that make
Yeah.
am I too far out left field or
No, I think you're making
making sense?
perfect sense because it's something that Charles Barkley talked about when he got in the league. I think Moses Malone was his vet. Like I think it might have been Moses Malone. I think I'm pretty sure I'm right here. But Moses Malone was his vet, and how like he was overweight. But Charles Barkley was like, well, like I can manage it. Like I'm not like I'm overweight, yeah, but like I can still play. Like I'm still getting double doubles. I'm still like, but he wasn't getting playing time when he got to the NBA. So long story short, like Moses Malone tells him, like, hey, like you need to go on this strict diet. And he puts him on the diet. Moses Malone puts Charles Barkley on the diet. And Charles Barkley says, like, ever since then, like um he he kind of just like thanks Moses Malone because like without him doing that, he wouldn't have been able to know his body and know how to condition for like a full 48-minute game. I think what you're describing is it's more like knowing the mental side of the game in terms of the physical condition of it because the game's physical and we all know I think everybody can play 48 minutes but at what level can you play those 48 minutes and that's why no one plays 40 plus minutes anymore because
Yeah,
it's hard unless you're on the Knicks but it's hard to exert that much energy all the time but I think at the end of the day I think Anthony Edwards he'll learn he's like we're like I like how we talk about Anthony Edwards like he's like 28 or like he's Jason Tatum. Like we don't even give Tatum this much of flack.
yeah. I mean,
but
what's
but
crazy to
but
think about, we saw LeBron do this at 25,
22,
26.
yeah. I
Well,
mean,
no,
LeBron
I'm
was this.
25,
Oh,
26 when he was in
till we went to the
Miami,
finals. Okay, okay,
where he
okay.
went to in Miami the first year in the finals. Like, I think there is something to it. Like, some people learn from others. Some people learn from like doing outside stuff to control, like Tiger Woods, I was telling you, Navy SEALs. Some people
Yeah.
learn like in the moment, like LeBron James in that moment. He's like, oh, okay, that's what the finals is. I got to be better. Like when on a team I'm supposed to win. Like he like not saying when he went to San Antonio, where it's like this. I'm just a bookend to Tim Duncan's at the time what fourth ring, but like I get it, but no, it's just I don't know. I'm still excited for kid's future. I mean, it's only 22, like you said, and I
Yeah,
think
it's wild.
he'll figure it out, and it's gonna be fun when he does. I really think it's gonna be really fun to watch. Um, but what's unfortunate is I think Michael Conley's probably the only guy that he can go to and talk to about these situations because
Yeah.
the other guy on his team, like they're just cowards. If you ask me, like Carl Anthony Towns, he's a big coward. Rudy Gobert, coward. Like these are guys supposed to be leaders of the team, given the paycheck, but they're not. Like you have Rudy Gobert, who's one of the softest 7 footers I've ever seen in my life, getting paid $40 million a year. Cat, he's not too far behind on his paycheck, but he's somebody he's 7 foot tall and he wants to play with teddy bears instead of going to the
So
post.
and this is
But
okay. So this is my issue with Gobert because people keep on bringing Ben Wallace couldn't guard guards. Like to me, I saw Ben Wallace completely at times shut down Kobe Bryant in those final matchups. Like he got switched on to Kobe and he would guard him. And this is Kobe Bryant entering his prime. I mean, he might have been in his prime, honestly. And this is probably one of his worst playoff series he's had against the Pistons. But I bring that up because Ben Wallace is kind of who I mean, we grew up watching Ben Wallace. And like that's who I kind of Ben Wallace and Dwight Howard. Those are the
I
greatest
don't think they're the
defenders
same
that
player,
I
Joseph.
no,
Ben
I'm
Wallace
not.
and Rudy Gobert are two totally different players.
No. I'm not comparing them. I'm making a point. Just hear me out.
Okay.
Like when I think of great defensive players, I think of Dwight Howard, I think of Ben Wallace, and I think of Ron Artest. Those are the three people I think of, like just off the top of the bat. And then there's Bruce Bowen that you could throw in, and then there's Roger Bell you'll throw in just for the perimeter guys, Tony Allen. But like when I think of just like bigs who won awards, who have the accolades to prove it, Dwight Howard and Ben Wallace come to my mind. And I don't recall any of them being targeted as much as Gobert is getting targeted. And to me, when it comes to him being a three-time, I think he's won the award 3 times now, or four, maybe even four. But when it comes to him winning the awards like more than 3 times, or at least 3 times, to me, it just frustrates me as a basketball fan
Well, can I
because he's not
you
good.
the floor is different though.
The floor is
What,
different,
if you
but
watch the Lakers and Pistons in the finals, right? You're gonna see Shaq in the post,
yeah,
Karl
that is
Malone
true.
in the
In the
post
post too,
area.
probably.
You're gonna see Kobe Bryant at like the elbow, right? Like you're gonna see all these guys grouped together. So when Ben Wallace is guarding, like you have Tayshaun Prince, who's super long, so his arms already at Kobe. Rip Hamilton right there, Chauncey in the area. Like it's real tight together. Like that's just how the game was. Like
Yeah,
now everything you don't have two post guys in there in the middle. You have, the Mavericks, they have their guys though. PJ Washington on the 3-point line. So that removes the defender. Like you have floor way spaced out. So that's probably what you're seeing, Joseph. So like the help
yeah.
defense isn't there. Now what the Timberwolves, I don't understand what they do, like in game, what was it, two? Why not switch back? Like they're just allowing the switch. Like that's the like they're conceding the switch. I think
Well,
that's the
so I
bigger
think
problem.
so.
Like sprint, teach whoever switches back to like teach them to sprint back. Like I'd
So
rather
I
have Luka
think
give up a
yeah.
skip pass over there to some
So
guy I don't know who's shooting the ball, but then it's not like Kyrie Irving's man screening. It's Garrett
but
Lively or PJ Washington. Like let one of them shoot over Luka. Like that's just
so
stupid defense.
so this is what they did against. But what you're describing is what they did against Denver, but it was effective because Denver wasn't shooting the ball well. But
Well, they don't have.
When Derrick Jones is 4 for 4 from threes, and Peter Washington is hitting threes, like and then we didn't even mention the lob, like the alley oop being such a big play. I
Well, yeah,
think
that's why you saw now
it's
Rudy plays
it's
back, and I think
hard.
that's a
It's
smart
hard.
play. Like on the
But
pick and
but
roll, he's
but to
sagging, and I
me
think that's the defense you
but
need to
to me
play on
I
that.
rather yeah, but I
If your
agree
guy
with you.
goes to
I
the
rather give up
paint,
the
sack.
I
If your
rather
guy
give up
goes
the
outside,
lob.
switch.
Like give up the
That's
lob.
what they're doing.
Like
Without
if they get an
disrespect.
alley oop, if they get an alley oop from it, let them get the alley oop. But to me, you let Luka and Kyrie get a rhythm because we saw yesterday Luka and Kyrie having a horrible game, and then as soon as Luka gets he got a he drew Karl-Anthony Towns a foul, got the 3 free throws. He scored. He was back in action. He was ready to go, and he kind of took off after that point. But like you can't let these guys get a rhythm. And they did a really good job at containing Luka and Kyrie yesterday. They just did. Like they doubled. They switched when they were supposed to switch.
Yeah,
They hedged out the or they blitzed the screen on the screen and roll. So they did the stuff that they were supposed to do. But I think they benefited a lot from Lively not being on the floor because Gafford, as good as he is defensively and as good as he is as a rebound, he's just not a good like roller. He just isn't he's just not like so. I do want to move on to the Celtics here because we already spent a lot of time
yeah,
talking about the T Wolves here, and so the Celtics they beat the Pacers I think on Sunday. It was on Sunday I think. They swept them 4-0. Tyrese Halliburton didn't play. So I googled. What are the 10 easiest paths to the NBA Finals? Can you take a guess of like which ones are on the list? Just in recent memory, it's like 10, but like there's
there's
three in
gotta be
recent
a there's
memory.
gotta be a there's gotta be a LeBron Cavs one.
Yes,
There's gotta be that.
yes, there is.
Um, like are they counting like teams? 'Cause, I mean, the Warriors Durant that was a
No, yeah. I
okay.
mean,
So
even
yeah,
them. Even
well
them.
they had they
I think they had a tough. They had a tough because
well
they
like
would play.
The Rockets almost
Yeah, the
beat them,
Rock. Yeah,
with Chris Paul and James Harden, right? Um, the Trailblazers were still in the West, and that was just
Trailblazers. Trailblazers was an easy
they
sweep.
swept them
Yeah, yeah,
without Kevin Durant. Like,
yeah.
trying to think who else they played.
Yeah. I think that was. I mean, that was those were the
The Rockets
two
are the one
main
that
things.
I remember was like really
Rockets
good.
was the so and I always thought the Rockets were supposed to beat them in that Game 7 game where they missed like 23 straight threes.
Yeah,
Like
man, yeah.
to
They
me
make
that was
one of
to
them, they
me
probably win.
to me that is probably one of the
That's,
most rigged games in NBA history, like in my opinion. But I'm not gonna go
you can't
anywhere.
say it's rigged if a team misses that many shots in a row.
Okay, well we can disagree to disagree. We're not talking about that.
All
So
right.
this list has the 2015 2016 Cavs where the Cavs played the Pistons, and that was the year where the
Oh,
Pistons
the
had.
Raptors. Put the Raptors on there too.
Oh yeah, the Raptors did have an
LeBron
easy.
left. When LeBron left.
Yes. When Kawhi Leonard went. So the 2015 is the year where they had Brandon Knight and they had Stanley Johnson starting, and then they played the Hawks the following round in the second round. That was like Jeff T team, I think. And then the final round was the Raptors, was the Eastern Conference Finals. So those are the easiest. They're saying that's part of the easiest round, but so I'm working up to say this because I think this is probably the easiest route I've seen in recent memory. Now here's the pushback that you'll probably give me is the East is always the weakest conference out of the two
No, I'm
conferences.
not. That's not what I was gonna say.
Okay, well I'm gonna continue my point and
Continue. Yeah.
I guess I'll hear. But I think the Celtics have had the easiest run to the finals. They're 12-2, and they haven't really played anybody. They played the Heat without Jimmy Butler, and the Heat without Jimmy Butler is pretty much a non-playoff team, honestly. And then they go into and they lose a game to the Heat, by the way, too,
Mhm.
at home. And then they go and play the Cavaliers. They lose a game at home, and then they win in five. And then they play the Pacers and they sweep them. So my thing is this: so many injuries, and you can't control injuries in the playoffs. Like I'm not saying that you can, and I think there are a lot of seasons where the healthier team won. A lot of the Raptors beating the Warriors in that 2019 final. Like
Mhm. Mhm.
like if Steph and Durant are, if sorry, Clay and Durant are in the game, the Warriors are coming back in that series and at least forcing a game seven. Like the Warriors were closest forcing the game six, and Clay just got hurt, but Clay was going off that game. But I'm just saying, I think this is probably one of the easier runs I've seen in recent memory. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I just feel like you can't have an easier run than what we're seeing right now.
Oh, them versus the Mavericks. Who do you have winning?
I would say the Mavericks, personally. Like
Okay.
I'm favoring the Mavericks.
Okay. I think some. I'll say this: the Celtics. I know people say, "Hey, you can't predict injuries," but for some reason, I think you can. I think you can.
I
When it
agree.
comes to guys like the Clippers, we know they getting hurt. We said it all the time. Someone getting hurt, and someone got hurt. Jimmy Butler got hurt. The Celtics won that series. Who they play last round? Like, I totally
The
forgot. I'm not gonna
Cavaliers,
lie.
Cavaliers.
The Cavaliers, Mitchell got hurt, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then now Halliburton got hurt. Okay, Halliburton, I think he needs to start eating some cheeseburgers or something. I don't know what he needs to do. Like. He needs to gain weight because I think he's too thin. I think because he's that dude. He's a really good basketball player,
Yeah,
Joseph.
I got a
But
hot
he's
take
always hurt.
on Halliburton
Always
too.
hurt. Mitchell, he's super athletic, and we've seen time after time those super athletic guys, whether it be Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook, you get hurt. You sure do. So, but you know who doesn't get hurt? When was the last time Jason Tatum was hurt in the playoffs? When was the last
I'm
time
not
Jalen
joking.
Brown was hurt in the playoffs? Now they do have Porzingis who gets hurt a lot, but a lot of the guys on the
But he's a
Celtics,
skinny
you
frail
know
guy
they're gonna
too.
be there. Yeah. Now, when it comes to the Mavericks, they're doing something that I don't think I've ever seen before.
Let me hear it.
Kyrie Irving is healthy an entire playoffs. When have you heard that before? So I'm not
This
saying bad
guy.
luck. Knock on wood. I'll knock on wood. I got some right here. But he's gonna get hurt. It's gonna happen. And I'm sitting here be like, told you. Just because I haven't seen it. He hasn't been healthy. He's only been healthy one time. And when he was, they won the finals, right? Like
Yeah, that
props
was
to
the
him.
one time. Yeah.
Yeah, the one time. Um
I mean, he's been healthier in previous years. Like, I'm sorry, like after they won the
for an
finals too.
entire playoff run. Because the
I
next
mean,
year
I would bet that.
he wanted to trade and he got hurt with the Celtics. He was hurt when he was with
No,
the
that was like 2 years afterwards. No,
hurt. All I know is hurt. All I know is hurt.
Yeah, but
He's always hurt.
I agree with what you're saying though. Like he is
So
like when he's on the Nets, he was not like he got
Luka's
hurt.
got a knee injury now, or he's bleeding every time I see him.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
like I don't know what's
so
wrong with his knees, but his
so
knees bleeding is kind of bothersome.
I think Celtics can win the finals this year.
Wow,
Now the real question is going to be who's the
that's gonna
Finals
suck.
MVP? Jalen Brown and
Or Drew
Tatum.
Holiday,
I think that's going to be the big one.
or Derek
I
White.
I think Joseph. I'll say this, man. Like I think if you're Brad Stevens, whatever, and you're creating a team of you all these players, you want somebody else. You want Tatum to win the Finals MVP, or you
Or
want
Derek White.
Derek White or
Yeah,
Drew Holiday or Porzingis. You do
I
not want
agree.
Jalen Brown because you see the energy that's on the Celtics now when Jalen Brown won the Eastern
Yeah,
Conference
he's like I,
player,
I
right?
finally got recognition. Like bro, like come on,
Yeah, I think
dude.
that's. But the finals one, like these
Like bro,
people are
like you're
weird,
the
man.
highest paid player in the NBA. What are you talking about? Finally get recognition. Like you don't get the highest paid NBA player in the league without recognition.
Yeah, like even when the like Iguodala won the MVP over Steph Curry, like I think they did that because LeBron they didn't want him to get Steph to get it over LeBron. I think personally, so they're like, let's settle for Iguodala because for some reason, he got the MVP for holding LeBron to 38, 15, and 12 or something. And
Yeah,
oh, okay, like that makes sense. Good job, guys. But yeah, I believe in storylines more than I believe in like actual talent. So yeah, I just
do you think the
you
voters would
Celtics.
vote? Do you think the voters would vote for Jalen Brown? I mean, I think at this point, if the Celtics do win, I think they're going to vote for Tatum just because of Tatum, not being MVP and whatnot. Like I think at this point, if they win the finals this year, I think Tatum's gonna get that leap where he's gonna be like where he's gonna be like a top three NBA MVP guy for the near future over the next couple seasons.
I mean,
That's gonna
it sucks,
happen.
Joseph, because I think
But
he's probably done the most for a 26-year-old
yeah,
that we've like. I mean,
we've
he's done
seen.
everything LeBron did. Like in all
Yeah.
seriousness, like
I mean, honestly, he's
getting to
done
the
more than
finals, not
LeBron
winning.
did.
Like by the time they were 26, we're talking, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
super. Like granted, LeBron had a lot more on his plate. I think the best player at this point was Mo Williams that he played with. Mo Williams is not anywhere near Jalen Brown or Kyrie Irving. Al Horford, right? Um, but yeah, easiest. I mean, I don't know, Joseph. The easiest kind of. I mean, I get it. It's fun to say it, but I mean,
Yeah,
these are people collecting paychecks. I think the Cavs have identity crisis. Um, like I told you, I think they need to play through Evan Mobley. I think he'll 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 just bring a different dynamic for the team. Um, because the whole Mitchell Garland backcourt, I'm not a believer. I don't think you want two midgets back there playing your guard
yeah.
position.
I think there's a difference between a regular season team and a playoff team. And I think there was a lot of regular season teams in the playoffs this year. And I think that had to do a lot with injuries, but specifically in the Eastern Conference. Like I think the Knicks were a regular season team.
They
Like
were
I
annoying.
think in any other season, I think they're a first round knockout to a team like the Celtics or like a healthy Cavalier team. Like I think if the Cavaliers and Knicks play first round this year, I know the Knicks beat them last year, but I'm talking about this year, I think the Cavaliers win
Yeah.
that series. But I don't know.
If you're
Okay,
watching this
yeah,
like play out, if you're a team like Chicago, it's gonna be tough because you have DeRozan, Levine. If Lonzo comes back, they can win the East next year. Like they're just as good,
yeah. I think they
And
can go at least to the second round.
that's the
I
crazy thing. Like,
like
um,
they just need to trade Zach LaVine for like I mean they have
I keep.
Kobe White. Well, I don't think they need Zach LaVine with Kobe White. I
I
think
don't
Kobe
think
White
again.
excels.
I don't think you went with two midgets. So I wouldn't
They
play
got
Ball
Caruso.
and
Caruso doesn't play small though. So they would have Caruso,
a lot of
DeRozan.
guards.
Yeah,
I
I
need a
think they
four,
have to get rid of
which is
some.
why
They
I
have to
would
get rid of some
I'll hold
guards.
on to. Yeah, but I'm just saying. I just do a team like that where I'm like
Yeah, I get what you're saying
the
though.
East,
I
like
mean
they're not far. The
Bucks
Bucks.
are gonna be back
Yeah,
next year. Like
yeah.
they're not gonna be bad for a long time.
Honestly, I hope they move Damian Lillard. I'm tired of him.
I think the thing with
Um,
Dame is he
I want to
is
see Damian.
just
I
he's
want
a
to see
has
Damian Lillard
been.
for Jimmy Butler.
I think Jimmy Butler would have
Honestly,
been. I
I'm
think
starting the rumors now.
Dame. I
Jimmy
think
Butler to the
Dame.
Bucks.
Dame would have been great with the Lakers. And I know I'm a Laker fan, but he would have been perfect for us. Because
Nah,
he,
he's too weird. He's like a weirdo.
but yeah, he's very he's like to himself, but he has a huge ego. It's kind of weird. Like he's humble, but he's
Yeah,
not humble.
he's like a fake humble guy.
Yeah, yeah, there we go.
It's like
Okay,
he's like Kendrick Lamar. There you go.
this guy. All right, let's get to other news in the NBA. Last thing we'll say, and then we'll get to kind of the other stuff we wanted to discuss, which is going to be the NFL. But specifically with the Oklahoma City Thunder, Sam Presti had his like conference last, I think it was on Monday, I want to say, or Tuesday, maybe even last week. But he was discussing like pretty much saying that he was like like the Gordon Hayward trade. Like he said that he regrets doing that trade because it didn't work out for him for his team. And he was like, "This is something that this is a learning experience for me." So I wanted to propose to you a question where, like, in a job like a high pressure job like a GM of an NBA team, have you? I've never heard a GM say that or a head coach say that before. Where like it's like
I
a
didn't catch him saying it, but
analytics.
that sounds stupid. He thought a middle
Yeah. Okay.
aged. I'm not trying to be mean here or racist. You can hit me in the comments. But he thought a middle aged white guy with no athleticism was going to come in and add some value to a young team that plays defense and runs off of turnovers.
Yeah. And just so people know that we're not
Dude,
lying, I'm going to share
shut
my screen and share the full quote. This is what Sam Presti had said. So this is what he said. He said, "I missed on that. That's on me. But I'm learning. I'm trying to learn this team. I'm trying to learn the pace of the team a little bit and trying to be a great
no.
observer of the team as it's going through its paces, knowing that it's really going to change on its own and of itself." To me,
He did that trade
it
because it's an expiring contract and they have a
yeah.
whole bunch of draft picks. It's a picks, right? Like, dude, shut up. Go
That
away.
was the reason why I made the trade. But to me, it was like to me that trade. I mean to me, I think he's just so obsessed with these stupid picks. But to me, like I
No.
don't know why
You know what?
no
You know
one's
what they should have
criticizing
done,
him.
Joseph? They should have
But
traded for Daniel Gafford. That's what they should have did.
they had the pieces to trade for him. They
Yeah,
have
but no,
future picks.
they didn't want to pay him. They said no. We're going after
But
somebody
this
that we
and this
don't
is my
got to
thing
pay.
with and this is my thing with OKC and the like OKC's biggest thing this season was what
They got a guy,
rebounding, rebounding,
Joseph. Their starting
and they
center
got
weighs
Gordon Hayward.
190 pounds. Like that's their
But
problem.
I wanted to talk
Same way
about
you can't
him.
win with midgets, you can't win with sticks and playing for big guys. Like it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I just feel like him just
I
saying
got
like I missed on that. That's
I
on
don't know.
me.
I hate people doing being stupid.
I just don't like how the media is like kind of pumping him up in a
I
way
mean,
where
he's
they're just
great.
like
He's probably the greatest talent evaluator I've ever seen in my life. I know Jerry West is great too, but outside of Jerry West, is there throwing better? The
I
guy
don't think
literally
Jerry.
selects
But let's be
future
honest
Hall of
though.
Famers, and
Let's be honest. Would Jerry West go into a press conference and say I missed that? That's on me. After like the
maybe,
season after,
maybe.
I don't know.
But
Would he
but
admit
Jerry
to trying
West,
to learn the team?
but I
Like
don't
to
think Jerry
me,
West is gonna.
I
Jerry West doesn't make trades where he trades for middle-aged white guys with no athleticism in at the end of their career. He just doesn't do it. Like I
yeah.
can't even tell you that has when
Speaking of
he was with the Lakers. You know about the Kobe and Shaq stuff, and he put pieces around that. When he went, where'd he go after that? I know he was in Memphis. I know I'm skipping a whole bunch of years here, but he was in Memphis.
are telling Jerry
We saw
West.
what he did when
Yeah.
like that team with Zebo and Gasol, like
Conley.
all those guys, like Tony Allen, Warriors. You see him with Clay and like Draymond and stuff. Like he was there for all that. Um, the Warriors, he helped Kawhi and stuff like go to the Clippers. Like this is what he does, Joseph. He hits home runs. That's Jerry West in short. Presti, he's like goes after. He's great at finding these kids that can ball. But he just can't.
He
He's
can't build a team.
yeah. He probably needs another guy with him to help close. because that's all he needs, just someone that can help close and build a team. Because
I mean, they have the talent to win.
they
It's
need a
just a matter of
big
winning a championship.
because they couldn't rebound,
But yeah, I think if they would
and
have
they
had
need
Gafford,
another score.
it would have been a different mission. Well, Jalen Williams. That's what I was talking about. Jalen Williams is not.
He's
He did.
cool, but I think he's like a
He
third
did.
player. I don't think he's a
Yeah,
second. I'm
yeah.
sorry,
He's not a
not at
second
least not yet.
option. But I think he's still young. I think he's like I don't even think he's 22 yet. Jalen Williams is still a young guy, and I got full faith in him that he will be a great player in the future.
Yeah,
But he's not there yet. Like I remember,
yeah,
but I remember when Tatum and Brown were having these kind of laps in the playoffs.
but they're kids too. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Okay. Well, let's get to the other news of the NBA, and then we can switch over to the NFL. Bill Walton has passed. One of the probably biggest what if stories of the NBA if it wasn't for his injuries. But even more than that, because I don't think we don't remember him playing basketball. We don't know about him playing
No,
basketball. We more about him being a commentator. And I think to me, in my opinion, he was like whenever Bill Watson was like comment calling a game, like I would listen and like I would drop my
yeah,
phone, I would stop what I'm doing, and I would just listen to him because he was a like as good as a player as he was, like I think he was a way better commentator. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I never watched him play, but he actually made me like I remember I remember my first memory of I was thinking about it. I was like, I remember my first memory of it was like on a playoff game, like in the early 2000s. Like he was calling a playoff game against the Lakers are playing somebody, and like he was talking about the position, and this was more when he was like being critical of like Shaq and stuff. Like he was like saying like Shaq needs to do something, Shaq needs to do this, and this is what I would do. Shaq needs to pass the ball out of those doubles quicker and stuff like that. But then he would also like bring up some just random like fact about like the Lakers or like about Minneapolis Lakers and how they would how like we when he was growing up they were in Minnesota and all this stuff. And like I just remember him like learning a lot from him. Even in his later years when he went to college and he did the Pac-12, like that was super fun for me because he just brought a lot of like funny stuff like to me. Like he would just do whatever. And sometimes he would kind of like he would teeter that bridge of appropriate versus inappropriate. But I think he did it in a very like not ignorant manner, but more of this like naive manner where he's just open. And he's very expressive. So I do want to give my flowers to Bill Walton. You are inspirational, and thank you for all that you did. And yeah, that's my piece.
yeah. Bill Walton passing definitely was shocking. I like checked my phone like probably like 100 times because I feel like I just like saw him, like not
Yeah.
in person, obviously, but in watching like the Pac-12 basketball, like he didn't seem like nothing. I didn't know he was battling cancer. Um, he seemed like he was the same exact person, like
Yeah.
super cheerful, inquisitive. Like he was always trying to find out why something was happening. Like I remember that they
Why
were
are they playing zone and they just hit three straight threes on these guys? Like I don't
yeah,
understand it.
but it could be something like that, or it could be something in the someone would be wearing some random shirt, and
Yeah.
he's like, "What's that all about? What is he talking about? Who is that?" And he's like really trying to. He'll go talk to the fan during a break. Well, he'll tell you, I talked to the fan. He's wearing this shirt. This is why. And he's like,
Yeah.
it's like he'll tell you. He was super engaging. Like, and it it was cool because I mean, I live on the East Coast now, and he made it worthwhile to stay up and watch like the Pac-12 at midnight, and going into the morning. Even if it was a blowout, because you never like UCLA. He would call a lot of UCLA games this past year, and UCLA they weren't a good team, and they would get blown out. And he was like talking about the game where it's like, uh, get you a run to go into the next game. Like this is what you want to do. You don't want to quit. Play your starters, like so they can have
Yeah.
momentum going for the next game and stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Like I know you're down 30, but maybe this will, you make a three and it turns into a couple more threes in the next game. Like
Yeah.
he was always like doing that kind of stuff. Or so yeah, definitely, rest in peace and that was definitely a shocker and uh I will say I'm glad I lived in a lifetime where he was commenting on games.
Yeah,
But there's probably another world out there that I lived where I missed out on Bill Walton. So
yeah.
I'm glad I got to see it.
Yeah, but I think a great commentator like Bill Walton is for sure gonna be something where like I think back on like 30 years from now, like Bill Walton was like a guy that I'm gonna remember. Like Al Michaels, like Jim Nance,
Yeah, he would
like
wear
those
like if
guys
the
like
crowd
that.
if the fans were wearing some type of colored wig, like he would get
Yeah,
one
he would
on.
do
Like
the same thing. Yeah.
yeah, like it was like it wasn't he wasn't
Oh,
wearing like a
Dick
suit and
Vitale. Sorry, I
tie.
can't. This guy mentioned Dick Vitale, but yeah, Dickie
Sure,
V.
sure,
Go ahead
he's
though.
gonna be another one. No, I'm saying he's gonna be another one.
But yeah, I think yeah, it's getting to a point where I mean we're getting older and these things are gonna be happening where but Bill Walton, it was a shock just because he's only
Mhm.
71 and like you said, like he was commentating Pac-12 games last year. And like someone I saw like a tweet, someone was like they were saying that Bill Watson died the same year that the Pac-12 died. And it's just like it was like kind of like a
Wow,
full circle.
wow. So it's truly yeah the tournament. Sorry, the
Conference of
conference of
Champions.
champions.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow,
They
that's
couldn't
actually
like
pretty
the Bill
crazy.
Walton couldn't live without the Conference of Champions. I mean, it's
Yeah,
kind of like I mean, obviously
because he was always talking about that the conference of
yeah.
champions, conference of champions
Honestly,
all
I
the
still
time.
don't know what that means, by the way. I still don't know what he was talking about. But that's why I call it Pac-12. Like you got so much pride
Yeah,
in the Pac-12 just because of the Conference of Champions. I'm like, dude, like UCLA won 12 in a row or 11 in a row. I know that, but
and
like
he was a part of it.
Arizona
Like I
won,
heard
I
Skip,
know,
I
but
heard Skip talk about it.
yeah, on
And that
Undisputed
that
this morning,
was
yeah. Or I
yeah,
guess
like
when he
and like
passed.
I appreciate Skip for those moments to be honest,
Yeah.
because he's somebody who's old enough to remember
Covering.
player,
Well,
right?
well,
Oh, so
did
go
you
ahead.
catch this? I would say, did you catch a story about how Bill Watson like came onto his show first before he started doing like gameplay? Like that was cool to me.
He had a
Like,
stuttering problem.
yeah,
Crazy. I was like, you watching today, you never, well,
yeah,
watching last year, excuse me. Um, you would never expect it, right? But
yeah.
yeah,
Well, thanks to Bill Watson for the memories. And obviously Luke Walton, we know about you being his more known son, but I know he has other family in the Watson family. So
oh,
thoughts and
that's
prayers are
another
with you.
thing. He would talk about
Luke,
Luke and
dude, when
how
Luke Walton was coaching,
All the Arizona players coming to his house and stuff.
yeah,
He was talking about those
yeah,
stories.
yeah. Well, Rich Jefferson. I haven't seen Luke Walton like on a pop podcast talk about it too much, but I know RJ, Rich Jefferson, Gilbert Arenas, because they're all on the same team.
Yeah,
To think about this, think about looking back on that team was stacked. Like they had like 5 or 6 pros on it. But anyways, they would talk about it, going to Bill Walton house, and just hanging out there and um like I forget who was talking, but even today I was hearing someone talk about it, and they were like, "Yeah, my kids would go over to his house, and it was my first time meeting him, and like my family would just go over to his house for dinner and stuff, and so he was always welcoming." Yeah.
yeah.
So thanks, Gowan, for the memories. Um, in other news, let's get to the NFL. Or do you want to stop here?
No, we got NFL.
Our NFL here. So there's a couple things we want to talk about. I want to kind of address. First is going to be